most people miss this one. A little extra cleaning in this area goes a long way. There's a spot on your body that 90% of people miss when showering. And it's the sneaky culprit behind that lingering odor. Even if you're super clean. Ever had someone open a window when you walk in? Or maybe someone subtly leans away? Don't worry, you might just not know this one thing. In today's video, you'll discover why this body part is the smelliest, and how just 1 minute of proper care each day can eliminate up to 90% of body odor. If you care about your health, confidence, and staying fresh around loved ones, don't skip the next 30 seconds. It could even change your relationships with your grandkids. That seemingly simple sentence, "Mom says it's just your scent," packs a powerful punch. It's innocent enough coming from a little girl, completely lacking malice, but it lays bare a harsh reality that older people dread facing. The undeniable changes that come with age. The feeling of being different, of being subtly rejected for things beyond their control. The fact that the mom, daughter-in-law, or daughter acknowledges the smell to the child shows that the grandmother has no allies, not even within her own family. The impact on Grandma Nancy is devastating. Imagine the hurt, the loneliness, the loss of self-image. To be rejected, even slightly, by your own grandchild. It's heartbreaking. The image of her huddled under the covers crying speaks volumes. It's not just sadness, it highlights the quiet suffering of the elderly. They often endure in silence, unwilling to complain, unsure who to confide in. This can easily lead to a silent depression, a gnawing feeling of becoming a burden. The little girl's statement, while true, subtly reveals the video's core issue: the smell of aging. It's a difficult topic, one that families often avoid. We tiptoe around it, afraid to hurt feelings, and that avoidance creates distance. The elderly are left confused, wondering what's wrong, leading to misunderstandings, growing separation, and deep hurt. It's a painful truth many families face, but rarely discuss openly. The story tackles a sensitive yet common issue in modern life, especially in multi-generational households. It starts by pulling at your heartstrings, laying bare the truth, and then gently guides you towards a solution. It's a heartwarming narrative that really gets you thinking and feeling alongside the characters. It's the kind of story that makes you reflect on your own family dynamics, and maybe even pick up the phone to call your mom or your kids. The way it's told is both compassionate and relatable, making it easy to connect with the characters and their struggles. It's not preachy or judgmental, but rather offers a thoughtful exploration of a complex situation, leaving you with something to ponder long after you've finished watching, reading. The takeaway from this situation? Let's break it down from different perspectives. The grandchild, the mom, and the grandma. From the grandchild's point of view, it was a case of honest, innocent intentions, but a serious lack of tact. They saw a problem and wanted to point it out, but went about it all wrong. They lacked the finesse to offer help in a kind and gentle way. The mom, understandably, felt the sting of her child's bluntness. It's tough when your child unintentionally hurts your feelings, especially when you're already dealing with the changes of aging. It can leave you feeling vulnerable and a little isolated. Grandma, on the other hand, probably felt a mix of emotions. While she might appreciate the honesty, the way it was delivered likely caused a bit of hurt. It's a reminder that aging brings physical changes that can be difficult to navigate. So what's the big lesson here? For grandkids, it's all about learning to communicate with kindness and sensitivity. Instead of pointing out flaws, focus on offering help in a gentle, supportive way. Think about how you'd want someone to approach you if you were in a similar situation. For the older generation, it's about accepting the natural changes that come with age and learning to adapt. This might mean seeking help, adjusting routines, or simply being more open to new ways of doing things. And for the whole family, open communication is key. Talk to each other, listen to each other, and work together to understand everyone's feelings. Don't let little misunderstandings snowball into bigger problems that damage those precious family bonds. A little empathy and understanding go a long way. I'm Dr. Henry Thompson, and let me tell you, at 77 years young, I'm not just your average geriatric specialist. I've had the privilege of working with over 10,000 amazing seniors. And trust me, I get it. I'm right there with you, experiencing this incredible chapter of life alongside you. Being a doctor specializing in geriatrics and having lived through many of the same experiences as my patients gives me a unique perspective. It's not just about the medical knowledge. It's about understanding the joys, the challenges, and everything in between that comes with aging gracefully. I've seen firsthand the ups and downs, the triumphs and the tough times, and I can honestly say that I understand what you're going through. Having walked in your shoes, so to speak, allows me to connect with you on a deeper level, offering not just medical advice, but also empathy and a listening ear. I've met over 10,000 seniors, and I truly understand how you feel right now. Doctors have uncovered a hidden truth. 99% of people over 60 are unaware of their own body odor, but others certainly notice it. This statement shatters a long-standing silence in many families. Older folks often don't realize it because their sense of smell naturally weakens with age. Nobody wants to hurt their feelings by mentioning it, and many seniors believe that simply being clean is enough. The real takeaway here isn't about laziness or poor hygiene. It's about a lack of awareness regarding the biological changes that come with aging. It's also a huge reminder of the importance of open communication and understanding between generations. It's easy to assume that someone's personal hygiene is fine, but age-related changes can impact how we perceive and regulate our own body odor. A gentle, caring conversation can make all the difference, helping seniors maintain their dignity and confidence while also ensuring a more pleasant environment for everyone. It's about empathy and understanding, not judgment. Let's break the silence and start talking openly about this often overlooked aspect of aging. Let's paint a picture. George Carter, a man who showers every day, overhears his grandson whispering to a friend, "Grandpa smells really bad. Ouch." That stings, right? Imagine the shock, the immediate sting to his pride. It's not just about body odor, it's about feeling unseen, unheard, and ultimately unloved. That casual comment cuts deep, leaving George heartbroken and withdrawn. He pulls away from his grandson, a heartbreaking consequence of feeling like a burden, a ghost in his own family. This isn't just George's story, it's the silent struggle of countless seniors who feel invisible, their contributions overlooked, their worth diminished. They're not intentionally neglecting their hygiene, they're grappling with the painful reality of aging and the fear of being a nuisance. It's a stark reminder that the love and connection we share with our elders are vital, and a simple act of kindness can make all the difference in their world. A hug, a conversation, a genuine show of appreciation. These small gestures can combat the isolating feelings of invisibility and restore a sense of worth and belonging. The question that makes viewers take a good hard look in the mirror. If you're still listening, you might be wondering if it's you too, and that suspicion is probably right. This is a seriously powerful storytelling technique, putting the viewer right in the character's shoes. It encourages self-reflection, while also offering a glimmer of hope for a solution. The statement is brutally honest, but without judgment. It doesn't shame anyone. It gently nudges them towards realizing they might want to make a change. It's like a friendly hand on the shoulder, a quiet, "Hey, it's okay, we all go through this," followed by a hopeful, "And you know what? Things can get better." It's that perfect blend of relatable vulnerability and optimistic possibility that really resonates. It's not preachy, it's not condescending, it's just real. And that's what makes it so effective. Shifting from problem to solution with the reassuring, "Don't worry too much. Watch this whole video and I'll show you how to fix it." The doctor expertly addresses the elderly patient's deepest anxieties, immediately building trust. His approach is all about positivity. No blame, no making the patient feel dirty or useless. Instead, it's a collaborative, "We can totally change this, and I'll show you exactly how." He's not just offering a solution, he's offering hope and a partnership in overcoming the challenge. It's a friendly, approachable style that puts the patient at ease, making them feel understood and empowered. This isn't just about fixing a problem, it's about restoring confidence and well-being. The whole interaction is designed to build a strong doctor-patient relationship based on mutual respect and trust. The doctor plays a crucial role, acting as a storyteller, confidant, an empathetic listener to the elderly protagonist's heartbreaking emotions. He's the one who understands the pain and shares in their feelings, making a genuine connection. But he's also much more than that. He's the science explainer, breaking down complex medical information into easily digestible terms, making sure everyone understands. He's the problem solver, offering practical solutions and encouraging proactive steps. And finally, he's the inspiration, motivating viewers to take charge of their health and well-being. He's like that wise, trustworthy older friend who's seen it all, understands the complexities of life, and genuinely cares about the people around him. He's the perfect blend of medical expertise and compassionate understanding. Not everyone's lucky enough to have grandkids who are patient and understanding, always ready to explain things clearly. That's why the doctor in the video represents something really important. The kind of listening that older people often miss out on. It's that gentle, supportive hand, but with a real sense of authority and reassurance. It's the belief that if you just know the right way to do things, you can reconnect with your family and rebuild those close relationships. It's about finding that bridge, that understanding, and knowing there's hope for a closer, happier family life. It's a reminder that sometimes all it takes is a little guidance and a lot of empathy to mend those family bonds. Have you ever been on a bus and noticed nobody wants to sit next to you? Or maybe your grandkids avoid you, or your daughter-in-law constantly opens windows when you're around? It's a tough question, but is it possible you have that old person smell? The truth is, sometimes, yes. These little things, nobody ever says anything directly, but they hurt. You feel it, that subtle avoidance. It's easy to start feeling insecure, withdrawing, becoming isolated, and even depressed. It's a vicious cycle, and it's heartbreaking. The science behind that old person smell is actually pretty fascinating, and it's definitely nothing to be ashamed of. As we get older, our bodies naturally change, and that includes the way we smell. It's not because we're dirty or neglecting our hygiene. It's a completely natural process, driven by shifts in our hormones, metabolism, and even the bacteria living on our skin. Think of it like this. Just as the flavors and textures of our favorite foods might change slightly as we age, so too does our body's natural scent. It's a unique signature that reflects the journey of life. The good news is, while this age-related odor is a real thing, there are ways to manage it and feel confident and comfortable in your own skin. It's all about embracing the changes that come with age and finding ways to feel your best inside and out. So ditch the guilt and embrace your amazing, one-of-a-kind scent. 3 sneaky culprits behind that old person smell? Let's break it down. First, sweat production slows down. Think about it. When you're young, you're sweating out about 1 liter of toxins a day, a natural detox. As we age, that sweat decreases, leaving those toxins to hang around on our skin. This creates the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, leading to, well, you get the picture. It's a reminder that less sweat isn't necessarily better. Sweat's a natural cleaning system. Next up, sebum, the oily stuff our skin produces. After 50, our bodies start cranking out more nonenal, a substance that oxidizes and sticks to our skin like glue. It's super hard to wash off and is a major contributor to that distinctive old person smell. It's the main culprit, the one many older folks don't even realize and younger people are too shy to mention. Finally, dry mouth plays a big role. After 60, saliva production drops by a whopping 50%. Saliva helps balance the pH in our mouths and fights off bacteria. Less saliva equals bad breath. Just imagine. Linda Harris, 69, says she can even smell her own breath when she talks, enough to make her self-conscious around her grandkids. So there you have it. 3 reasons why we might develop that unique scent as we age. It's all perfectly natural, but understanding the causes can help us address it. It's a vicious, invisible cycle, but a very real one. They shower, they spritz on perfume, but family members still keep their distance. Grandma or grandpa feels offended, hurt, but has no idea what they've done wrong. The feeling of loneliness and sadness sets in, leading to even less self-care. The smell lingers, gets stronger, and the cycle begins again. It's a tough situation. The impact isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. Older adults might withdraw, avoid contact, lose connection with grandkids. easily leading to depression and a sense of meaninglessness in their lives. It's heartbreaking to see someone you love trapped in this kind of isolation, feeling like they're failing, even when they're trying their best. The key is understanding and gentle support, helping them break free from this isolating spiral. The doctor's healing spirit shines through the phrase, "But there's a fix, and you don't need expensive products." After gently revealing a somewhat harsh truth, the doctor cleverly shifts to solutions, creating a sense of reassurance and hope. That's the truly humane part. No blame, no unnecessary panic, just a straightforward path towards a practical solution. It's like a warm hug after a bit of a reality check, a comforting reminder that there are simple, affordable ways to take care of yourself without breaking the bank or feeling overwhelmed. It's a refreshing change from the usual sales pitches, isn't it? This approach builds trust and makes you feel like you're in good hands, ready to tackle whatever comes next. It's all about empowerment and practical help, not fear-mongering or empty promises. Let me tell you about George Carter. He was a meticulous man. He showered every day, kept his apartment spotless, and took pride in his appearance. He was the kind of guy who'd iron his handkerchiefs. But one day, something happened that chipped away at his self-esteem, something that quietly stole his joy. He overheard his son's friend, a young man probably barely out of his teens, whisper, "Man, that old guy smells strong." It wasn't a shouted insult, not a direct confrontation, just a casual, thoughtless remark overheard in the hallway. But for George, it was a punch to the gut. It wasn't just about the smell, it was about feeling invisible, about feeling like a burden, about the unspoken judgment that hangs heavy in the air when you're considered old. After that, George rarely left his room when his grandkids came to visit. The simple act of sharing time with his family, something he once cherished, became a source of anxiety and shame. He retreated, isolating himself, all because of a careless comment that highlighted the often overlooked struggles of aging. It's a heartbreaking story, but sadly, it's a story repeated countless times. Dr. Henry uses George's case to illustrate a larger point: the silent suffering of many elderly people, often stemming from subtle, unintentional acts of unkindness. George's reaction after his unintentional remark wasn't anger or a confrontation. Nope, he withdrew, avoiding his grandkids, burdened by a deep sense of guilt. It's a pretty common response, you know? He felt ashamed, like he'd become a burden, a nuisance to his family. Instead of facing it head-on, he chose isolation, a really common reaction in older folks when they feel like they don't quite fit in anymore, like they've lost their place in the family. But George's story isn't just about a little offending smell, it's about something much bigger. The pain of feeling rejected, the sting of feeling unappreciated, and that leads to a whole cascade of other problems. Less social interaction, a real dip in mood, and it can even affect their physical health. It's a silent, slow death of the spirit, a heartbreaking reality for many older people. They're still alive, physically, but they've lost that sense of worth, that feeling of being valued by their loved ones. It's a tough situation, and it highlights how important it is to make sure our older family members feel loved and appreciated. They've given so much, and they deserve to feel cherished in return. Addressing the viewer directly. If you're still here, you might be wondering if this applies to you, and that feeling is probably spot on. This line cleverly taps into the self-doubt many older adults experience. Do I smell? Are my grandkids avoiding me because of it? But instead of inducing panic, the doctor cleverly encourages continued engagement with a reassuring promise. Don't worry, I'll show you how to fix it. George's story acts as a powerful mirror. He could be anyone's grandfather, or even the person watching the video. By presenting a relatable, ordinary character, viewers recognize their own situation without feeling judged or hurt. It's a brilliant way to connect. This approach masterfully builds emotional resonance, linking back to previous sections. First, the initial hurt caused by a grandchild's comment, then the introduction of the trustworthy doctor, followed by the revelation of the true cause of old person smell, and finally, the personalization through George's story, allowing viewers to see themselves in his experience. This empathy activation naturally and persuasively sets the stage for the doctor's solutions in the following sections. It's a smooth, engaging journey of understanding and hope. Let me tell you about George Carter. He was a meticulous man. He showered every day, kept his little apartment spotless, and took pride in his appearance. But one day, his son brought some friends over, and George, bless his heart, overheard a whispered comment. Something about an old man's smell being overpowering. It wasn't a malicious comment, probably just thoughtless, but it hit George hard. Really hard. From that day on, he started retreating. When his grandkids came to visit, he mostly stayed in his room, avoiding the living room, avoiding the chance of another accidental slight. He didn't want to be a burden, didn't want to be a source of discomfort for anyone. It's a heartbreaking little story, isn't it? Just a few sentences, but they pack a real emotional punch. It's a perfect bridge, taking us from the scientific stuff we talked about earlier to something real, something relatable. George Carter represents so many elderly people who silently suffer, their pain unseen, their struggles unheard. They're often overlooked, their feelings dismissed as just being old. But their feelings are real, their hurts are real, and their loneliness is a heavy weight to carry. It makes you think, doesn't it? About how we treat the elderly, how we communicate, and how a simple, thoughtless comment can have such a devastating impact. George, a meticulous and clean person, was told he smelled strong. The sting wasn't just the criticism itself, it was the complete lack of explanation, the inability to defend himself. That wounded pride, that silent inability to address the issue, led to a quiet retreat. It's a tough spot to be in. That seemingly insignificant whisper, a comment not even directed at him, had a lasting impact. It changed his behavior forever. It's like an invisible knife. A subtle cut that leaves a lasting scar. Think about it. Older folks are incredibly sensitive to being judged behind their backs. When they overhear something negative, their minds amplify the pain tenfold. Suddenly, they feel like a burden, an unpleasant sight, even invisible, someone to be avoided. It's a devastating feeling of rejection and isolation, especially when they can't understand the source of the problem or address it directly. The lack of communication is what truly hurts. It leaves them feeling helpless and misunderstood, leading to a sense of shame and a withdrawal from social interaction. It's a reminder of how easily a careless comment can have a profound and lasting negative effect on someone's self-esteem and well-being. A little empathy and open communication can go a long way in preventing such situations. What happened next? He withdrew, avoiding his grandkids. He rarely left his room when they visited. That's the heartbreaking consequence. When older people disappear from family life, they're not just isolating themselves, they're actively shutting down their own joy. Think about the impact. No interaction with grandkids means a lost generational connection. Staying alone in his room increases the risk of depression. That feeling of "I'm not relevant anymore," it's a real danger, a path to losing yourself. George's story, while specific to him, reflects the unspoken fears of millions of seniors. It's a story about the fear of being overlooked, of being avoided, of feeling, literally and figuratively, that you've lost your appeal. George's experience is a quiet mirror reflecting the lives of countless grandparents and older adults out there. It's a common fear, a silent struggle, and a reminder that we need to actively reach out and connect with our elders, to show them they're still valued, still loved, and still very much a part of the family. It's easy to let busy lives get in the way, but the cost of that neglect can be devastating. Let's make sure we don't let that happen. Let's make sure our grandparents and older loved ones know how much they mean to us. The doctor's line, "If you're still listening, you might be wondering if it's you too." And that suspicion is probably right, is a real gut punch, you know? It's not accusatory, not preachy at all. It's just a gentle nudge, a little whisper in your ear. It lets you sit with the story, feel for George, and then, bam, suddenly you're staring at your own reflection, thinking, whoa, maybe that's me too. It's that kind of quiet, powerful connection that really gets under your skin and makes you think. It's not about judgment, it's about recognizing something familiar, something maybe you've been trying to ignore. It's a really clever way to make the audience deeply involved in the story and their own lives at the same time. The truth about that old person's smell. Science explains why it's not your fault. We've all heard about it, that distinct odor associated with aging. But before you start blaming yourself, let's dive into the science. As we get older, our bodies naturally change, and that includes our scent. It's a completely normal part of the aging process, not a personal failing. Think of it like this. Just as our hair might thin or our skin might wrinkle, our body's natural aroma shifts too. It's not a sign of poor hygiene or anything to be ashamed of. In fact, understanding this can be incredibly reassuring for older adults who might feel self-conscious about it. It's a simple truth that can make a big difference. It's not your fault. This isn't about covering up a smell. It's about dispelling the myth that it's something to be embarrassed about. It's a natural biological process, and acknowledging that can be incredibly freeing. So, let's replace any feelings of guilt or self-blame with a compassionate understanding of how our bodies change over time. 3 biological changes are behind that old person smell. First, reduce sweating, less detoxification, more bacteria buildup. Think about it. When you're young, you sweat about a quart a day, but after 60, that drops to less than half. Sweating isn't just about cooling down. It's a major way your body cleanses itself. When you sweat less, dirt, toxins, and bacteria hang around on your skin longer, leading to odors even if you shower regularly. 71-year-old Nancy Clark put it perfectly. "I barely sweat. Why do I smell?" It's a common question, and the answer was a real eye-opener for her. Second, changes in sebum production. The culprit? Noninol. After 30 years of research, scientists discovered that noninol levels spike from age 50, peaking around 70. This oxidized fatty acid is the main source of that distinctive musty odor associated with aging. Unlike sweat odor, noninol is incredibly persistent and hard to wash away. Perfume won't mask it. It's an invisible enemy, something many people don't even know exists, let alone how to deal with. Third, dry mouth. Less saliva equals bad breath. Saliva production drops by over 50% after age 50. Less saliva means a bacterial boom, and bad breath is the unfortunate result. Saliva helps neutralize acids in the mouth. Without enough, bacteria thrive. Bad breath can make older adults self-conscious, hesitant to get close to others, and less confident in social situations. 69-year-old Linda Harris shared her experience. "I smell it when I talk. I'm shy around my grandkids." It's a quiet embarrassment that many people understand all too well. The first solution? Properly caring for 3 key areas of your body can eliminate 90% of that old person's smell. Just imagine 3 minutes of targeted washing twice a day, and you're significantly reducing unpleasant odors. That's it. No expensive creams, no harsh chemicals, no overpowering perfumes. Just a simple, effective routine. We're talking about a method backed by 50 years of experience and proven successful with over 1,000 patients. It's easy, affordable, and incredibly effective. Think of it. Reclaiming your confidence and feeling fresh and clean, all in just 6 minutes a day. This isn't about masking the smell. It's about tackling the source and achieving lasting freshness. Ready to give it a try? 3 often missed spots when showering. Your doctor might call them the 3 forgotten zones, even if you shower daily. Let's tackle these easily overlooked areas to stay fresh and healthy. Those pesky skin folds. Think neck, armpits, under the breasts, belly button, groin, behind the knees, and elbows. These areas trap moisture, sweat, and oil, a breeding ground for bacteria. Older adults often miss these spots or just give them a quick rinse because the wrinkled skin makes scrubbing tricky or bending and reaching is difficult. 66-year-old Susan Brooks says, "Just paying extra attention to my neck, armpits, and chest like my doctor suggested. My grandkids are giving me hugs again." Hairy areas need love too. Armpits, chest hair, and especially your scalp are prime spots for sweat and oil buildup, including noninol, the main culprit behind body odor. Many people forget to thoroughly wash their scalp or don't shampoo properly. 62-year-old Tom Harris shares, "I started giving my scalp a good massage while shampooing, and that unpleasant smell is gone." Sweat zones, often neglected. Your feet, between your toes, and even your palms can get seriously sweaty. Feet are often the most overlooked. Combine enclosed shoes, socks, and infrequent thorough washing, and you've got a bacteria party. That foot odor can linger on your bed sheets, furniture, and even permeate the whole room. 68-year-old John Miller adds, I started scrubbing between my toes and drying them completely before putting on socks. My room doesn't get complaints anymore. So, let's make sure we're giving those often forgotten zones the attention they deserve. Why seniors often miss these 3 spots when showering. Let's be honest, showering isn't always top of mind, especially as we get older. But missing a few key areas can lead to some not-so-pleasant consequences. We're talking about those hard-to-reach spots and the ones we might just overlook in our rush to get clean. The problem: limited mobility makes bending and reaching difficult. This means those areas like the back of the neck, the bottoms of the feet, and between the toes often get neglected. Add to that sensitive skin that doesn't appreciate harsh scrubbing, and you've got a recipe for trouble. A quick rinse just isn't enough. Bacteria can easily build up, leading to unpleasant odors. Many people mistakenly believe that simply showering with soap and water is sufficient, but it's not. We often forget those hidden areas that are prone to odor. The doctor's orders. A doctor would emphasize that showering isn't just about rinsing and soaping, it's about thoroughness and the right technique. Getting those hard-to-reach spots clean is key to feeling fresh and confident. The right way to shower. Here's how to make sure you're getting squeaky clean. Warm water is best. Use lukewarm water around 100 to 104 degrees for 38 to 40 degrees Celsius. Scalding hot water can damage your skin's protective barrier, leading to dryness and making those odors even worse. Gentle is key. Use a soft washcloth or loofah. Avoid harsh scrubbing, especially on sensitive skin. Dry thoroughly. After showering, pat yourself completely dry, paying special attention to the areas between your toes and fingers. Moisture is a breeding ground for bacteria. Moisturize. Apply a good moisturizer to prevent dry, flaky skin. Dry skin is more susceptible to bacterial growth. Remember, taking care of your skin is a crucial part of overall health and well-being. A little extra attention to detail in the shower can make a big difference in how you feel and smell. Wow, just 1 week using this and you'll see a real difference. Your family will notice it too. It's not just about getting rid of that embarrassing odor. Your skin will look healthier and brighter. You'll feel way more confident interacting with people, and you'll find yourself connecting with your kids and grandkids on a whole new level. It's like a little confidence boost for the whole family. Seriously, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel inside and out. Now you know, a little cleaning goes a long way. The best part? You don't need expensive products, fancy perfumes, or any medications. Just understand your body, care for the right spots, and you'll see closer relationships with loved ones, grandkids eager for hugs, and you'll feel confident, comfortable, and loved. If you found this helpful, like and share with your family and friends. Subscribe for more easy and effective senior health tips. Comment, I'm ready to change. If you're starting today.